Alright. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Iron Rabbit Forge. I'm Roger. This is my first video, so don't expect much. Today we're not going to be really doing a whole lot. Really more of a test bed for anything, trying to figure out camera angles, audio, get into a project or two or something like that. Without further ado, if we are actually just gonna start doing something. We're gonna be flattening out this piece of steel. We got a piece of W1, pristine piece of W1 tool steel, real good for knife making. It's 1/2 inch round, clearly pretty long. I don't have to cut it up yet, so I can use it as a work stick. It's annealed, which means it's softened. Ow. Not that soft. But yeah. Let's get into it. Give you a little tour around the workshop real fast. This is not real fancy, kind of rudimentary. Pretty much just attached to an existing building in my backyard. All this is just junk wood that I bought from the local hardware store. Got my little forge. I got two belt grinders. This little small one right here, that one's for your finish work. That's my detail work. That's my big boy. This is my connection to sanity. My little baby vise. Please comment about how messy my workshop is. I will not read it. All right. Enough of the awkwardness out of the way. Get this back into the right angles. Yeah, that should work. So, tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. Obviously, first thing we're going to do is uncover that. We're going to pull this up. All right. Not break this in half, but that's what happens anyway. You know, shit happens when you when you fry bacon naked. But let's good Lord, haven't been here in a while. Ah. Get off. All right. Propane forge. I just hooked up to any kind of propane tank you can get. Any place that you buy propane. This little torch. Buy anywhere you go to hardware. Fire. And without further ado, you turn the propane on first. There we go. Give it a second to fill. And there we go. Burn some of these hornets away that are trying to build a nest in my shop. So I don't play that shit. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's heat. What do we do to fill the time waiting for this thing to heat up? Yeah. Hello. What's going on? Give me fuel, give me power. My video's wigging out on me. What's happening? I don't know what's happening. Hmm. Huh. This is good. Test bed. I hope the heat didn't fry it. I just got this damn camera. Alright, I guess that was just a case of starting the video over. Don't worry, I will connect these two videos together. Huh. That's a bit weird. Yeah, my video just started wigging out on me. Okie doke. Failed project right there. What do you do in the time in between? I don't know. I always figured if I was going to start making videos, that was going to be my biggest issue, was trying to fill dead air, dead space. What is this? That's epoxy. Yeah, my biggest enemy would be trying to fill dead air, because when I'm by myself, I usually don't talk to anything, anybody. Now I got to get used to talking to a camera. Recent past attempts at doing so, it's made me realize I've got the personality of a mud puddle. But with COVID being a thing, and everybody moving more to a digital world, and this turning into Digimon and stuff like that, all the media is moving that way. So what better time to try to get a YouTube channel off the ground than complete target market saturation, right? Right. Here we go. Now you can see my face. So, for those who don't know, this little pit of hell right over here can get up to God, what can it get up to? It gets up to about 2,000 degrees. Give you a little rundown, a little basic anatomy of a forge. Now it's pretty simple. This big hot glowy spot is where you put your metal. You got your burner right here. This is the heart and soul of a forge. This little mechanism up here, you can actually adjust how much oxygen your fire is getting, because without oxygen it doesn't burn. Now this is an open air forge, so this part is really important. You got your flap to let the fuel in. Tube line all the way down to a propane tank. This little white part right here, now this is synthetic kale wool. That's an insulator. It's fireproof. Fire retardant. No, it's fireproof. No. Fireproof. That's what keeps all the heat from melting the forge body itself. These little plates right here, you saw me move one a second ago, these are fire brick. Now fire brick, I'm not entirely sure what the composition of it is. It's a lot hardier than cinder block, which I initially thought about using to make a forge. Then I started doing a little bit of research and realized that it was a really bad idea. That stuff will just fall apart and crumble. Luckily it's cheap in case I ever decide to go that route. Let's see. I just broke these pieces, so I'm going to put these in front for reasons I'm not quite keen on myself, but it sounds like a good idea. Now because I'm kind of running out of fuel and I'm a little unprepared for this video, as you can probably very well see or hear, or whatever you're doing with this video, playing in the background or actively watching the thing. I looked at my tank and I'm almost out of gas, so I need to try to keep as much heat inside the forge as possible. So I'm blocking this up with some fire brick to try to keep some of that heat in there, so I don't have to crank it as high as it'll go. Excuse me. To keep the fire in there. Now this little red nozzle down here, this little bad boy right here, I think some wildlife's been eating on my stuff. I got a little red gauge right here that shows me how much pressure I have on the tank. Now, for forging purposes, there's a good sized window. I try to keep that on about 10 psi or so when I'm really getting heavy duty into working. That little green zone right there, I've got it sitting on about 8 psi right now, which is adequate. Keeps a good solid heat. You know, works pretty fast. You know, keeps things going fairly hot. Now that's a good solid golden red, so we're going to go ahead and throw this thing in the heat. Now, because of how long this thing is, I do have to keep a handle on it. Luckily, it is far enough out from the fire, I'm not going to set my arms on fire, I'm not going to set my arms ablaze trying to keep it in there. Now, as far as utensils, I do like my hammers a little on the light side. I do keep 3 hammers in my shop. I got my 2.5 pound hammer. Doesn't sound like much, but it does make a lot of difference. I got my 3 pound hammer, which I don't use a hell of a whole lot because last time I did, it gave me blisters on my hands. I think it might have something to do with the kind of material they have on the grip. And I just bought this at a hardware store. I just buy these at the hardware store. And then I got my big boy, my 4 pound hammer. Now my 4 pound hammer, this was the only one I was using for a little while, so it was kind of wearing on me. Now 4 pounds doesn't seem like a whole lot until you're swinging it around while sweating up a storm. 4 pounds gets real heavy real fast. For the purposes of this video today, this video right here, I'll be using the 4 pound hammer, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to take in this steel and we're going to flatten it out to a usable bar stock or flat stock, depending on which word you want to use. What am I going to be doing with this particular piece of steel? Well, it's really good knife steel, so what am I going to be doing? I'll be making a knife out of it. Now the initial heat does take a minute to kick in because you gotta get the heat and the anneal all the way down to the core of the steel. And I'm already starting to sweat, which is perfect because it's like 98 degrees out here right now, which is all humidity as we're in North Carolina in hurricane season. Also, it's peak rainy season, so of course it's going to be raining every other day, so the humidity's jacked up all the way as high as it can go. This is what I was talking about with dead space. I don't know what to do to fill the time, and because I have to hold this thing the whole time, because I don't have a stand, which I should really invest in a stand or making a stand, one or the other. Not really much I can do to fill the dead space. If you got any questions, if you got any comments on that particular thing, give me some suggestions. Give me something to do to fill the space. I don't know what to do. Like I said, I'm normally by myself, so it's not something I'm really used to doing is talking. Which, oh, yeah. What do I intend with this channel? What do I intend with making these videos? What I want to do is it's nice gold color. Almost hot enough to work with. Is what kind of videos do I want to make? That's a good one. Now, types of videos I want to make. Obviously, we're starting out with a blacksmithing video. I want to run them about 30 minutes long as a good average. Give you enough time to really talk with people, get the nitty-gritty of things done. It does require me to talk on a regular basis. Also, I don't know how to edit videos yet, so that's another thing I got to work on. So it's all going to be raw footage, one-to-one. Types of videos. We're starting off with a blacksmithing video. Pretty much, I don't want to limit I don't want to limit myself to any one type of video. So I want to do blacksmithing. I'm a real crafty guy. I like working with my hands. I want to, basic how-to projects. The house that I have, I'm currently in the process of renovating. So you'll see me doing some videos on that, some how-to kind of stuff. I'm a big video game player, so you'll eventually see me do some Let's Plays. Here we go. That's a nice workable color right there. So what we're gonna do, I got my anvil. I bought that off of Amazon, I think for 120 bucks. I was just working with a piece of railroad steel I bought off of eBay, but the iron's getting cold, so let's get this thing hammered, huh? Go ahead and criticize my hammer technique all you want. Once again, 4-pound hammer. Now, I haven't been able to get in the workshop here recently because of how hot it's been, because of the weather. As you can see, it's an open air shop, so I'm very well dependent on the weather. Exactly been cooperating. Come on, give me some more in there. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to hang on to it. I'm trying to be lazy here. I haven't been able to get in here, so my hammering technique is a little rusty. I am actually going to drop down to my 2.5-pound hammer because I can control it a lot easier. Once again, we're not doing any detail work, we're not doing any fine-tuning. All we're taking is this piece of W1 and we're turning it into a flat workable stock. Because I do want to make a knife out of this. It's not going to be all one piece. Eventually, once we get it drawn down to a bar stock, drawn down to length, I'm going to cut it off, toss it back in the forge, grab the tongs, and we're going to start making it. We're going to start making a knife out of that. That'll be a tale for another video. Yes, that is a loud noise. It's steel on steel, and this ain't going nowhere. Now see, I've already got that drawn down to about 1/4 of an inch. So once you get the steel hot enough, which is the key, heat, beat, repeat, move material fairly quickly. Now, with this, I do want to get about 6 inches of it drawn down to a usable material before I get it cut off. After that, again, another tale for another video. well, you know, what do people talk about? You know, I always told myself the only way I was going to make entertaining content was if I had somebody here next to me, you know, somebody I could bounce commentary off of. I'm naturally an introverted person anyways, so speaking is really well out of my wheelhouse. Now it might sound like I'm doing really good as doing a good job speaking as it is. Chalk that up to my day job as retail. Take that off and get this in a little bit further. Nope, still can't do anything with it. I work in retail. I work in a hardware store, nondescript big box hardware store. You only got a few to choose from, so take your pick. They all suck, especially right now. Little gripe session right off the bat. When this whole COVID thing really kicked off, you know, I expected things to like super die down because you halfway expect people to listen to people's advice, stay at home, social distance, that kind of thing, keep well past 6 feet across each other. The exact opposite actually happened. I had never seen a store that busy since, well, ever, really. You figure people are now at home. They're bored out of their minds because we're a species with an extremely short attention span. And oddly enough, everybody decided now was a time that we're going to work on some house projects. We're going to work on everybody wants to build a brand new deck for some reason. Blew my mind. I never knew building a deck was a defense mechanism. Was a coping mechanism for the apocalypse. But apparently, I was wrong. All right, steel. See me flipping it from here to here to here to here and kind of working it on all sides. That is to try to keep it as straight and true as possible. Just makes the process a lot easier to making something out of it. Just slowly working my way down. I want to cut it off, get a flat stock about yay far before I cut it off and start making a project out of it. So over the course of a little bit of time, multiple heats, beat the living crap out of it, I will get a usable piece of steel. Come on now, give me a balance. Where's something I can be lazy with? I need something. I'll figure it out later. Another project for another video. Oh, other intentions for the video, for the channel. This is not like your typical, your blacksmithing channels that you'll see anywhere else on YouTube. 20 minutes max, and you got a beginning to end, full done video, full done weapon project, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a grow with me channel. I haven't been doing this for very long. I thought it was a really cool idea. I wanted to do it when I was a kid. and a less than supportive parent told me otherwise, and I kind of lost interest for a while. And then, believe it or not, or you can believe it, the show Forged in Fire came out. You know, the History Channel, the Forged in Fire, and that, pardon the pun, reignited that flame to get back into bladesmithing. Now, my all-time interest for bladesmithing has always been from the creationist part of me. You know, I like working with my hands. I like, getting my hands dirty sometimes. I like making things. Stems from my need to create. Now, I like working with my hands. I like I like doing stuff. So I figured imposing my will upon an unyielding material was the best way to do it. Take something that's not art, turn it into art. So consider me an artist. Knives are art. Don't let anybody else tell you different. How long is this video so far? It's okay, so we're actually running about 30 minutes. I'm gonna call it right there. So tell me what you think about this outro. I'm the Rabbit Lord. This is the Iron Rabbit Workshop. I'll see you next time.